Supernatural changes to the King James Bible. Fact, not effect. Several months ago, I ran into a believer here in Springfield, Missouri, who I know, and she began to tell me about several alarming changes taking place in the King James Bible, and some in other versions as well. The changes sounded very bizarre indeed, and I know this woman to be a careful researcher. Not just those found in Bibles being produced today, but changes that were supernaturally occurring in the King James Bibles we already own. The ones we have in our own homes, and in my case, in a copy I have had since 1967. I began to watch some videos citing just where those changes were occurring so I could check them out for myself with my own Bible. I still have a Bible given to me as a 13-year-old in 1967, a parallel New Testament containing the King James, which I used profusely, particularly in high school, and also a very old King James Bible published around 1900. I had been raised in a Christian home, hearing Bible stories in Sunday school, family devotions, vacation Bible school, you name it. I also began memorizing the Bible extensively at a very young age, even reciting a complete psalm in front of the whole church when I was about 5 or 6 years old. I am very familiar with the King James Bible. Using the various Bibles I have, I began looking up the verses people were pointing out which contained those word changes. Almost immediately, I knew that beyond any doubt, many changes were in fact truly and shockingly taking place within the very Bibles I had owned for many years. Feeling a sense of actual violation and something deeply ominous, I knew that the Bible changes were first of all real and not imagined, and secondly, could only have taken place supernaturally. Words on a printed page simply do not transform into other words, good or bad, unless a powerful spiritual force is behind it. One thing is certain, something very serious is at work, changing our Bibles. Could this be part of the strong delusion we read about in scriptures? I continued to research and verify more and more changes. Many of them just simply angered me as they treat the Lord with absolute disrespect and shame. Others were silly and nonsensical, and those too saddened me greatly. And we know how particular words in the King James Bible used to read. We are grieved about what is happening and concerned about the dangerous implications for the future. Please do not quickly push this aside. The King James Bible has been under attack, with which these black magic forces have been making these changes to a precious book and are no doubt laughing hysterically as they do. Brothers and sisters, something very evil is taking place. So who do you think placed them there? And what more damage to these scriptures has this unholy intruder done and will continue to do? Brothers and sisters, these changes are just the tip of the proverbial iceberg. They are probably only 1% of all the changes that have occurred in yours and my King James Bibles. While there are many important issues that the Lord has had me personally encounter and later expose publicly, I could not be silent about this matter. It is very real, and the implications are extremely serious. All along, what will you do then? Are you ready to be placed in the group of those so-called deluded Christians suffering under a so-called Mandela effect?